Uh-oh. Our boy Peter Bukowski is in full-on meltdown mode.
You are Locked On Lions, your daily Detroit Lions podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
All right, everybody, it's a Friday edition of Locked On Lions. Welcome into the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Your Detroit Lions are 12-1. They've won 11 in a row last night. They knocked off the Green Bay Packers 34-31 at Ford Field on Jake Bates walk-off 35-yard field goal. We welcome you in. Thanks for making us your first listen, checking us out wherever you get your podcasts. Thank you to our everydayers that are out there that watch and listen to the show daily. You know who you are. I know I'm going to get to a long list eventually and give a bunch of shout outs. We are packed today with a lot to get into. We are brought to you by our friends at FanDuel. You know, it's America's #1 sports book. New customers can place a $5 bet. You'll get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win that first $5 bet. Visit FanDuel.com to get started. Peter Bukowski from Locked On Packers is absolutely losing his mind. He's losing his mind. You know I love Pete, all right? Most of you hate him. I refer to Peter Bukowski as the most hated man in Detroit sports. He's lost his mind. I'm going to play you this audio in a moment. We got the PFF grades we got to get into. We got to talk about being 12-1 and what I think that some of these national people can't take it. That Dan Campbell just rolls the dice and he comes up with 7s and 11s. Colin Cowherd, the latest today, he said, what he did last night was stupid, not taking the field goal at the end. No, it worked. This is the same guy that last week, and I'm a Colin fan, chastised Jonathan Gannon for not going for it up 3 in Minnesota. It's really not that big of a difference. It's like the same type of thing. We'll get into that momentarily as well. Also, Matt LaFleur got into it with a fan last night before kickoff on the field. We will talk about that as well here on Locked On Lions. But nice, relaxing Friday, a victory Friday around here. The weekend, you can just chill and watch other games. Is anybody going to watch the Big Ten championship game Saturday night between Penn State and Oregon? I guess maybe some of you. But regardless, here we go. Lions in great shape. Franchise record 11 straight wins. Franchise record 12-1 start. But I got to start with Locked On Packers host and friend, Pete Bukowski. It's been going around the internet. It's on Twitter and everything else. But poor Pete, his post-game reaction last night on his post-game show was not what I expected. Pete did not blame some of his players for poor performance or the fact that the Packers defense gave up 34 points or the fact that the Packers defense couldn't stop the Lions. Every time Green Bay scored, they needed to stop. Lions just came down the field and scored. Lions have scored 4 fourth down touchdowns in the 2 games between the two teams during the season, in which the Lions, by the way, won both of them. Remember when the Lions couldn't beat the Packers? Here was Peter Bukowski last night. Take a listen on Locked On Packers.
The Green Bay Packers lost to the Detroit Lions 34-31, and they got robbed. It is not interesting to talk about officiating. It is lame to complain about referees. I wish I didn't have to do it. And yet here we are because I have to, because the officiating was so one-sided in this football game that it cost the Green Bay Packers the chance to win the NFC North. It is going to single-handedly cost the Packers a chance to win the NFC North because that dream is over. They played well enough to win this football game. They had to play the Detroit Lions, the best team in the league so far this year, and the guys on the officiating crew. This was an abomination of officiating. Call after call after call went the Detroit Lions' way. This was stolen from the Green Bay Packers, and it's going to cost them playoff seeding. It's going to have real ramifications in the NFC, and it's garbage.
Oh, my gosh. Oh, Pete. Come on, Pete. No, Pete. You know what was stolen? Lions Packers 5-6 years ago at Lambeau Field by Clete Blakeman when they called not one but two penalties on Trey Flowers for illegal hands to the face. That was stolen. The Lions got robbed at Lambeau years ago. Lions also got robbed at Ford Field years ago when Aaron Rodgers hit Richard Rodgers on a Hail Mary, where the play before there was some incidental contact by Devin Taylor that really didn't need to be called. Come on, Pete. I didn't walk out of Ford Field last night going, man, Lions got a bunch of breaks in the whistle game. I don't. The one call that I will give Peter Bukowski and Packers Nation is the pick play on Christian Watson at the end of the game, which, yes, cost the Packers 4 points. Absolutely it did. That was kind of a weak call. I'll give you that one. What about Frank Ragnow called for holding on the screen pass that turned a first down into 1st and 20 at the end of the game? I didn't see Ragnow holding anybody. You could make an argument for the Terrion Arnold pass interference in the end zone that was also some hand fighting. I believe that was on Christian Watson as well. Pete, penalties were 7-7, dude. 7 for Lions, 7 for the Packers. Are we really going there? Robbed? Was the officiating great last night? I did not walk out of Ford Field. And look, I'm pretty objective. You guys know that. I picked the Packers. For God's sakes. I go to talk to my fellow Troy Chamber of Commerce ambassadors today. I was getting worked by certain friends of mine. How could you take Green Bay? I said, I got the score right. I said 34-31. I just had the wrong team. I picked the Lions every week for the first 12 weeks. Cut me some slack here. I thought Green Bay was going to win. I didn't think the Lions defense with 14 guys on IR and no owns Enrique Pascal or Reader were going to win the game. Doesn't make me a hater. I think the Lions are excellent. They're the best team in football. But for Peter Bukowski to melt down like that, sweet Pete, whew, come on, bro. I did not think the Lions won that game because of officiating. Was there a couple of bad calls? Absolutely. But I thought it was on both sides, to be honest with you. Wowzers. I don't think Packer fans, including Pete, I don't think they can take this. The Lions have owned them. It is now 4 of the last 5. Remember, 2022, week 18, all Green Bay's got to do is beat the lowly Lions, and they go to the playoffs. And the Lions went in there and stole their milk money, stole their lunch money. Jared Goff outplayed Aaron Rodgers that night. Kirby Joseph did his thing. Lions kind of embarrassed the Packers on Sunday Night Football, flex game and everything. In week 18, when the Lions found out earlier in the day they were not eligible even for the playoffs, it still finished 9-8. And that momentum swung into last year where the Lions won the division for the first time in decades, which the Packers have owned for a long time. Look, Green Bay's got a great history. Green Bay has a really good coach, really good players. But I don't know if the referees are deciding the division here. The Lions are 12-1. The Packers are 9-4. You know, first game, I think Packer fans are like, oh, that was in the rain. It was raining. And Jordan Love is really good. He's good. He made some big time throws last night. He also can't beat the Lions. Yeah, he beat the Lions last year on Thanksgiving, so fine. But 3 of the last 4, Lions have handled him pretty well. He didn't light it up last night. He made some good throws. Don't get me wrong. Made some good throws. L, I want you to hold it. I want you to caress it. Hold that L. Lions, you know the Lions won again. You know they always bleep and win. Won 11 in a row. Folks, 11 in a row. This team was 0-10 under Dan Campbell. Remember all the BS we went through here? Man, this is awesome. Absolutely awesome. All right, let's get into more about what we saw last night. Again, if you watch the tape, we got PFF grades we got to hand out. Something happened before the game, and I didn't see this because I was watching the player introductions and I missed it because I was in the stadium. Something happened before the game last night, which I did not like by either side. We will get into that as well right here on Locked On Lions, Locked On Podcast Network. It's fun. It's a fun-filled Friday. Yes, Victory Friday. And Locked On Lions today brought to you by our friends at Omaha Steaks. Nothing delivers comfort and joy quite like the unrivaled quality and taste of Omaha Steaks. It's guaranteed perfection in every single bite. Right now, you can save on unforgettable gifts with 50% off site-wide at omahasteaks.com. Plus, score an extra $30 off. Use the promo code NFL. With 5 generations of expertise and experience, they consistently deliver the world's best steak experience, and the gifting experts at Omaha Steaks have made it easy to deliver the perfect gift with thoughtfully curated gift packages featuring gourmet favorites. All right, from legendary steaks to mouthwatering desserts and more, save 50% off site-wide for limited time at omahasteaks.com. Plus, our listeners get an extra $30 off with promo code NFL. That's 50% off at omahasteaks.com and an extra $30 off with promo code NFL. Minimum purchase may apply. And we got to tell you about our friends at Skylight Frames. As I move the counter around, let's do this. I love Skylight. I love this gift. Folks, pay attention. This is good stuff. Seriously. Want to celebrate with somebody and stay connected to people, but they're far away? Maybe you miss someone this holiday season and you want them to be a part of your festivities from afar. Do your loved ones live far away, but wish they could be close to you? Simple. We've got the perfect gift for you. Skylight Frame is the touchscreen digital photo frame your whole family will love. Upload thousands of photos with your phone and watch them appear in seconds on a Skylight Frame. It's so easy to use. Setup takes less than 60 seconds. Plus, there's seamless sharing. You invite friends and family to easily share photos via the free Skylight mobile app or email. No account or subscription required. Looks beautiful in your home. Photos are displayed in HD resolution. You can choose from 5 different frame styles. You set it up in portrait or landscape mode. Here's what I want you to do right now. As a special limited time offer for our Locked On Lions listeners, get $20 off your first purchase of a Skylight Frame when you go to skylightframe.com/NFL. That's skylightframe.com/NFL. Get $20 off your purchase now at skylightframe.com/NFL. $20 off a Skylight Frame. Skylightframe.com/NFL. All right, it's a Friday. Locked On Lions, everybody. Locked On Podcast Network. Thanks for making us your first listen. Checking us out wherever you get your podcasts as well. We love being here. We've been here since 2016. I was talking to the Batdor family. Yes, the Grand Blanc legends last night that took me and my wife to the game last night. And it's crazy. I mean, we've grown the pod. We're doing great. We hit the top. I think we're like 104th on Apple today for sports podcasts. We're ahead of the Stephen A. Smith podcast. It's all because you guys. Thank you for downloading on Apple or Spotify, watching us on YouTube. We appreciate it. We're having a blast. It's a blast to do this show and talk about not a very good, a great football team. And I'll tell you this, and I got this poster last night at the game. If I could just show everybody on our YouTube page. It's the Dan Campbell poster that they handed out. This is the guy, man. This is the guy that drives the whole thing. There's complete buy-in. How many of you work in an office? All right, or maybe at a factory or wherever you work. And there's not complete buy-in. Leadership is there, and they're all right, but not everybody's bought in. Did you see the Dan Campbell speech last night in the Lions locker room after the win? It's all over social media and on the Lions website. he just has such a belief in these guys. And new players that come in, whether it was Jonah Williams or Quan Alexander or Jamal Adams, they come in and they just fit. They just fit. How many times have we talked about this? Let's say you're a college basketball fan. All right. College basketball in November is a rough watch. Why? Everybody's coming in off the transfer portal. They've had no time to really play on the same team with each other and learn each other's tendencies. And the Lions have had so many injuries. They've had to bring in so many guys off the street. And yet they all fit. They fit the culture. They fit what Dan Campbell wants. They all listen intently. They want to be great. And he's incredible. He's the best leader in sports. Tell me who's a better leader of men or women, for that matter, in sports than Dan Campbell. He's unbelievable. And if they go on to win the Super Bowl and he brings that elusive Vince Lombardi trophy down Woodward Avenue, I mean, they're going to build a statue. They might build a statue of this guy regardless. Just an unbelievable winning environment and culture that he's put into place. And as he told the guys last night after the game, this is what we're built for. It's a team of destiny. They feel like they're on the right path. You know, if I would have told you at the start of the year that when the Lions played the Packers on December the 5th at Ford Field, and, you know, Dan Campbell after the game is handing out game balls. He gave out 2 game balls. Tim Patrick, who the Lions got from the Broncos because Denver didn't want him anymore, and Jake Bates, who was a cast-off from the United Football League, UFL, the Michigan Panthers, had never kicked a field goal in college. These guys are getting game balls in maybe the biggest game of the year. And I know the Lions have a very big one next Sunday against Buffalo too, but man, that's what it's all about. I feel badly for picking against them, thinking, yeah, there's just so many injuries that sometimes it takes its toll. Sometimes it catches up to you. Meantime, start of the game last night, you have Pat O'Connor and, you know, Al-Qadim Muhammad just harassing Jordan Love. It's incredible. All right, speaking of performances from last night, top 5 and bottom 5 Lion performers from last night's game on both offense and defense in their 34-31 win over the Packers. The top Lion defender, according to Pro Football Focus at PFF.com, from last night's win is another guy no one's ever heard of. You're going, who's number 47? Who's that? That would be Ezekiel Turner, who turned in a 91.8 grade in 17 snaps. If Turner doesn't tackle Jordan Love on that quarterback run, it might be a different result last night. Maybe the biggest tackle of the game. Zeke Turner, 91.8. They had to settle for the field goal instead of going in for a touchdown that would have been a go-ahead score. Jack Campbell was second at 85.5. Another player you've never heard of, Miles Adams, 76.8, the defensive tackle in 19 snaps. Kirby Joseph was fourth at 71.2. Carlton Davis fifth at 67.8. Of course, had that huge punch out of the football, forced fumble on Christian Watson. As far as the players that struggled on defense, at the bottom 5 from PFF, Patrick O'Connor was last at 36.2 grade. Brian Branch, a little bit of a surprise, just a 42.8. Broderick Martin, 43.5. David Long, 54.7. Trevor Nowaski, 56.3. Those are your top 5 and bottom 5 Lions from PFF, graded out on defense. Offensively, Jared Goff was number 1 at a 76 grade. Tim Patrick was second at a 73.9. Batting third, Kevin Zeitler, 72.7. Jamison Williams, 69.7. J-Mo had a good game last night, a couple of crossing routes, a couple of great blocks in the run game. And Graham Glasgow, 69.2. Those are your top 5 Lions on offense. Bottom 5. These scores aren't really that low, to be honest with you. Brocktober, Brock Party, blocking and tackling. Thank you, Plymouth Jim. 50.3 for Brock Wright. Frank Ragnow, 56.8. Played all 80 offensive snaps. Third lowest was Shane Zylstra, part of the Flying Zylstra brothers, as I like to call him, 57.9. Dan Skipper, 58.4. Dan. And Jahmyr Gibbs, 61.9. Those are your bottom five, top five Lions on offense and defense from last night's 34-31 thrilling victory over the Green Bay Packers. All right, we had a little incident last night that has been captured. It was captured on NFL Network. It's been around the internet. I have some thoughts on it. I want to do that next, right here on Locked on Lions. Folks, I got an unbelievable holiday present for you. All right, Locked on Lions fans, you got to do this. If you're like me and your holiday shopping list is far from complete, if that's the case, I've got the perfect gift for the passionate sports fans in your life. Perhaps you've heard of the IceShaker. IceShaker is now officially licensed with the NFL, NHL, NBA, NCAA, and Major League Baseball. It will make the ideal gift. Created by and used by the Gronkowski brothers, IceShakers has sold over 1 million bottles. They've changed the game with workout bottles, and this is the gift you've been looking for. So just go to IceShaker.com and use the code LOCKEDONNFL. And at checkout, you save 25% on your order. All right. Kitchen grade stainless steel bottles that won't absorb odor like the plastic bottles do. All right. Third-party test results are there. All right. Patented twist and agitator they have that breaks up powders, but it's silent when you shake it instead of the annoying ball. All right. Customizable. You want the Lions one? You can get it. It's awesome. Get that Lions IceShaker right now by ordering up at IceShaker.com. Use the code LOCKEDONNFL for 25% off your order. IceShakers. Show your support for the Lions with the best branded workout bottles on the market. IceShakers. They are amazing. And as always, we're brought to you by our friends at FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Get ready to tackle the NFL action this weekend at FanDuel. Right now, new customers can bet $5 and you get $150 in bonus bets if you win. The FanDuel Sportsbook app gives you everything you need to place live bets in the NFL, all in one place. When you get a hunch in the middle of the game, you check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place your bets. Sitting up in the suite last night, we had fans right in front of us, obviously, in the second deck. And a guy was on his FanDuel app the whole game, but he was not just looking at his bets. He was looking at the live stats and everything else. Go to FanDuel.com right now to join. FanDuel.com. You'll get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. Never waste a hunch. Make every moment more with FanDuel, the official sportsbook partner of the NFL. All right, so a very interesting occurrence took place last night before the game. Again, the Lions defense was introduced individually. So all the players that were starting the game got introduced to the crowd. And as the introductions are going on, there are fans on the field holding the giant American flag. And they're all kind of standing with each other. And then, as you know, the fans walk towards the Lions bench to unravel the flag and make it a giant American flag. And it's, all that patriotic stuff. So one of the Lions fans that was holding the flag on the far side in front of the Packers bench in a Brian Branch jersey, and I don't know his name. I don't care to know his name. I'm not going to promote this person. All right. This is like, I'm not going to do what Bernie Smilovitz did years ago and promoted John Green, the idiot that threw the cup at Ron Artest and started the malice at the palace. All right. I'm not promoting this person. I'm making a point. This dude is holding the flag and starts chirping at the Packers bench and the Packer players and coaches who are standing on the sidelines. Why? We're down there holding the American flag, a really cool honor to be on the field and hold the flag. And you turn around, this guy's standing like this, turns around and starts trash talking, as Matt LaFleur was asked about after the game, starts trash talking the Packer players and the coaches. LaFleur loses his mind a bit, walks toward the guy and says, get the F out of here, F off, and starts yelling F-bombs at him. Now, LaFleur has a good point. He doesn't need the fans that are holding the American flag to be trash talking his players. All right. Lions and Packers don't like each other. There was trash talk before the game. There was trash talk after the game. Tucker Kraft got into it with Kirby Joseph. I have no issue if the players are going to go at each other. I do have an issue when a fan is told, hey, go out on the field and hold the flag, that he's yapping at professional football players and coaches. You want to do it from the stands? Fine. You're down on the field and you're yards and inches away from a player. Just stop. But Matt LaFleur had to be restrained 3 or 4 times. Matt, you told the guy to get the F out of there and to screw off, and you grabbed some security. That should have been it. LaFleur going back at this guy 3 or 4 times did not help the cause. And this guy was a total slappy. He was like putting his hands up in the air, like, come on, get the crowd going. Half the crowd didn't even see this because they're watching the Lion introductions. But regardless, this is dumb. Number one, the fans shouldn't have done that. Number two, LaFleur, all right, you got it. The first time around, you told the guy to get the F out of there and to shut up. That should have been it. Matt LaFleur started going at this guy even more, like a second and third time, like walked away. He walked away, which was the right move. You said your piece, walk back to the bench. This guy kept chirping him, and he started coming back, and you got security, you got training staff. They're all like keeping LaFleur back. Hold me back, hold me back. Matt, give it up, man. So I thought both parties in this looked ridiculous. That's just my 2 cents. We need to enjoy what we're having here. What the Lions are doing right now is historical. They are unbelievable. They should be in the Super Bowl. If you're a fan going down on the field to get a chance to hold the American flag, can you just keep your mouth shut? You want to cheer for the Lions, you want to high five Lion players, but bleep talking the Packers, no. And then putting your hands up in the air like, yeah, like waving to the crowd to get up. But again, I know there's not a lot of rules anymore in society. This is what we've got, unfortunately, but I thought it was stupid. All right, folks, we got ourselves an unbelievable football team here. 12-1. Winners of 11 in a row. 11 in a row. Next weekend, we got another big game. Buffalo's coming in, 4:25, CBS. NFL Today crew will be in the house. Jim Nantz, Tony Romo, they'll be here. It's going to be awesome. Absolutely awesome. So have a great weekend. We're back again Monday with another installment of Locked On Lions right here on the Locked On Podcast Network.